Hi, everyone. This is Ellen from the Astrology Journal. I just want to talk about the daily rotation of the signs around the wheel. So this goes with the article on the fixed sign shift, the first article in that series. So here's just a basic chart with it's the natural wheel. I have here the points of the sun's journey. So this is sunrise here. So this is equal to the eastern horizon. This is noon here. This is equal to noon, so the point where the sun is overhead. And then here, this is sunset. So this is the western horizon. So noon, by the way, in the northern hemisphere, this is the southern sky. In the southern hemisphere, this is the northern sky. And then this is sunset. So this is the western horizon. And this is midnight. This is what they call the bottom, imum coelum, the bottom of the heavens. So this is a point where we don't see the sun. So here we have the morning hours of the day. So from sunrise to noon. Here we have the afternoon hours of the day from noon to sunset. Here we have from sunset to midnight, so the evening part of the day. And here from midnight to sunrise, so the nighttime part of the 24-hour day. And then the signs you can see. So the two things here, the quadrants you can see are laid out. So this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So they go counterclockwise around the chart, but the path of the sun is clockwise around the chart. So that's a little confusing. Same with the signs. The signs go counterclockwise around the chart. Starts with Aries here, aligned with sunrise on the natural wheel, and goes to Taurus and Gemini, and then all the way around until it gets to Pisces. So again, the signs are laid out in the opposite order of the path of the sun. So the way to make sense of that, I haven't been able to find a way to make sense of the quadrants from a clockwise perspective in terms of their order. But the signs, it's really easy. What actually happens is if the signs rotate around the chart throughout the day. So Aries rotates up and through, and all the other signs are doing the same thing and goes all the way around until it winds up back here. So there are a couple of things here. The signs are not the same thing as the constellations, but as a metaphor, we can think of them as like the constellations rising or circling the earth over the 24-hour day. A constellation will rise on the eastern horizon. It will continue to rise up until it gets to the highest point, and then it'll set, and then it'll kind of continue around through the nighttime part where we don't see it, and then, or the daytime part, I guess, where we don't see it, and then up again to the horizon. So that's what this is based on. But the signs are not the constellations, and I will talk about that in the next article, why that is and what it means. So I just want to talk about, let's see, so we can see that we have specific names for these points on the sun's path in the sky. In astrology, we have specific names. So we have the ascendant. Sunrise is the ascendant or the ascending sign, or the rising sign, which you may have heard about. What is your rising sign? They're talking about what sign was rising on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. And then there's the midheaven. That's what we call the noon point, and then, or the highest point in the sky. And then there's the descendant. So this is the highest point in the sky. For the sun, that means noon. But that point is the highest point in the sky 24 hours a day. So Capricorn, for example, here might be at the highest point in the sky. So Capricorn would be at the midheaven. But another sign could be at the midheaven. So it's just the highest point in the sky. But in terms of the sun's daily path, this is noon. So you could say it's noon for a given constellation, if you want to do that. And then over here, we have the descendant. So this is sunset, the descending sign. And then the midnight sign is the Imum Coeli, I think it's called, which is Latin for, I think it's bottom of the heavens. You can look at like astrologydictionary.com. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Bottom of the heavens. And then the midheaven is also sometimes called the Medium Coeli. So that's essentially the highest point in the sky. I think it means middle of the sky, or something pretty close to that. It's Latin again. So we call these the angles of the chart. So they're like the angles are the turning points of the chart. So from a daily clockwise direction, the ascendant, midheaven, descendant, and Imum Coeli. And actually, those are always what the 4 points are called. And then if we go up here, so we see that each quadrant has 3 signs. And when we consider these signs from the perspective of the quadruplicities, we see that each sign, we'll go up here, each quadrant is made up of 1 cardinal sign, 1 fixed sign, and 1 mutable sign. And each quadrant has those in the same order. And the order is from cardinal to fixed to mutable. The order is the counterclockwise direction in terms of how they're laid out. Cardinal, fixed, mutable. So initially, it doesn't really make sense why they're laid out that way. But then when you realize that they rotate, then it makes sense. They are aligned in the right order. Cardinal sign goes first, fixed sign goes second, mutable sign goes third. So down here, we have Aries is the first sign, it goes first. Taurus is the second sign, it goes second. Gemini is the third sign, it goes third. So the order is right from the perspective of the clockwise direction when you understand that the signs are rotating around. Now, in terms of the meanings of the signs, if we go here, so throughout the day, the signs are rising, they're moving around the chart. So the first sign to cross the sunrise point or the ascendant point, the rising sign point, is Aries. So Aries is the first you could say, is the first to initiate this part of the day, which is morning. And then Capricorn is the first to cross over noon and the first to initiate the afternoon. Aries and Capricorn are cardinal signs. Libra, the first to descend past the descendant or past the sunset point, the first to set in the sky. And so it's initiating evening. This is Libra. This is a cardinal sign. And then down here, Cancer, the first sign to pass into the nighttime part of the day. And again, Cancer is a cardinal sign. Each cardinal sign is followed by a fixed sign. And so then the fixed signs are the second signs to enter a given part of a day. So the cardinal, sorry for this back and forth, the cardinal signs initiate the given part of the day. That's what the meaning of cardinal signs, one of the symbolic meanings of cardinal signs is initiating. They're leaders too. They're leading the way through a given time of day. The fixed signs follow. So Taurus follows Aries, the second sign to move into the morning. Aquarius, a fixed sign, is the second sign after Capricorn to move into the afternoon. Scorpio, a fixed sign, the second sign to move into the evening. And then Leo, a fixed sign, the second sign to move into the nighttime part of the sky. So fixed signs are persisting, steadying, and stabilizing. So As the second signs, they're not beginning or initiating, and they're not ending, transitioning. They're in the middle. They're kind of like holding steady in that middle part of the day, the middle part of that quarter of a day. So each of these quadrants represents a quarter of the day. And then, oh, sorry about this. Sometimes I'm not sure why it does this. It doesn't. Well, there's nothing I can do about it right now. It doesn't. This is just super weird to me. It doesn't. It's not there when I do it, and then it'll just show up. But anyway, I'd have to go in and get rid of a stroke, and I'd have to stop this to do that. So we're just going to live with this. So then the third signs in each quadrant are mutable signs. So Gemini, which on the natural wheel falls in this position, is the third sign to rise up into the morning part of the day. Pisces, another mutable sign, the third sign to cross over into the afternoon part of the day. Sagittarius, mutable sign, the third sign to cross over or descend down into the evening part of the day. And then Virgo, the third mutable sign to cross into the nighttime part of the day. Mutable signs are transitioning and ending, and they're sort of preparing for the new. So they're not beginning, they're not holding steady, they're finishing, they're transitioning, they're adapting, they're getting ready for what's to come next. So that is one way to understand the symbolic meaning of the quadruplicities. And then this is a little bit of an aside, but because the signs are constantly moving around throughout the day, depending on the time of day you're born at, a different sign, the signs will be in different places. So they'll always be in the same order, but they won't be in the same location. So you could have a chart with Aries over here, and then every sign following in turn. And so what's on your rising sign, what your rising sign is, what's on your midheaven, what's on your descending sign, or on the descendant or the sunset point, and what's here at the Imam Coeli, they're going to be different depending on the time of day that you're born, and also a little bit depending on location, but I don't understand that as well, so I'm not really going to go into that so much, but or really at all, except to say that. So that is how this is one of the ways we get different charts for different people, is because these signs rotate around. The other quick point to make is that these spaces where I have the names of the signs, these are the houses, and technically the houses don't move around. It's the signs and that do, but just to make it easier to understand, I just kind of moved the whole house around. But it would be the signs that move, not the houses. But we haven't talked about houses, so that's just something to think about for later. Okay, I hope that explained things a little bit better than just having to read it. If you have any questions, let me know. This is my first time trying to explain, actually my second time, but the first video didn't work. So it's kind of my first time trying to explain this, and I find these things a little bit complicated. So hopefully it helped, and let me know if there's anything that didn't make sense or needs clarification. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.